and I want you guys to volunteer. You guys give me a name of a business that you had a call with this week where you were able to uncover an opportunity and create a follow-up task, and you have it in Converge to where it's set for whatever that date is. Because every opportunity, if your conversation ended up in an opportunity, it should have some kind of follow-up.
I had one this morning, Nikki, for Megani Capital. It was a prospect that you and I dropped into last year.
Okay. You said it was from when?
Oh, I just put it in today. Sorry.
Oh, that's why it's not on.
Yeah.
I have one, Nikki. It's Med Center Fueling.
Let's see.
I have to follow up with him today.
So talk to us about the conversation and your follow-up.
This was a referral. This was a customer that was referred to me by the banking center. He has multiple businesses. He's looking to grow. He has two convenience stores with gas station. He's set to open a third one, and he's looking to grow with the working capital line of credit. So this conversation was on Wednesday or Tuesday, I want to say. And he was like, hey, look, I would like my partner to be involved. So he's like, can you call me today? So I have a meeting scheduled with him today at 1 to see next steps and to see what's going to work with him. So I created this was the business development. And I think if you click on the profile, I have the follow-up schedule for today. Yep, there you go.
Okay, so is this also on your calendar?
Yes.
Okay, so my question is, what about when it's a follow-up that's not an appointment on your calendar, but just a follow-up for you to call it back? Does anybody have one of those? Good job, Irving.
Yeah, I've got one for IGWT Empire. So not a official appointment. This was a new business account that I called on just for continued onboarding purposes. And so I uncovered that this gentleman has a towing company not a towing company. He sells the parts for tow trucks, ironically. And so he's looking at expanding his market and building a website. He was informed that we can handle the merchant and card processing, but not the fact that we could build his website. So we almost lost the deal to Squarespace, I believe. And so anyway, had a couple follow-ups with them, left some messages this week, and then I've just got another point to touch base with him today. It's not an official appointment, but it is a task on my Converge.
Okay, so your follow-up task, so it showed up on your homepage?
Yes.
So how many tasks do you have on your homepage for today?
Today I have, I've been working on some before. I try not to do more than about 12 or 15 a day, just so it allows me to accept new opportunities and I don't get bogged down and then they become overdue and then I end up on a report. So the normal answer is about 12 to 15.
And you do that first thing in the morning?
Yes, that's how I got my day. I try to do it as early as I can, depending on a client's request. But typically, I kind of view my success on like, hey, did I get everything on my to-do list done today? And then anything extra is obviously like icing on the cake. So if I get new opportunities, new referrals, I kind of handle them in stride. But I prioritize what I need to do today based on that task list.
Okay. So I'm going to pick on you just a little bit because you are a Converge guru and you always do really, really good. But I want to pick on you.
Sure.
Chase is interested in hearing about CMA offers. We'll call back at 3:30 today. Is that a business development call?
In my mind, it was, because I got to talk about a little bit of what was going on, but I got cut off and he was like, oh, I'm actually at like a meeting. Can you call me back? And so then I called him back, but then he didn't answer. So I guess technically, to me, yes, but it depends on who's looking at it.
Right. And I'm just saying, from my eyes looking on it right here, it doesn't look like it. But if you did have a chance to talk to him about some specific things, I would make sure you include those specific things. And then again,
Okay.
so he didn't answer. So my question would be, do you have a follow-up task to call him back?
Yep, on the 14th.
Good job. So kind of what I wanted to just share is that, I was looking through these this morning, and I just want to make sure that when we do have a conversation and there is something specific uncovered, because again, we want to have quality conversations and we want to uncover opportunities. And if there's an opportunity that we're going to do a follow-up on, create the follow-up task. But we want to also make sure that our business development calls, Brent sent it out, I think last week or earlier this week, what a business development call is. And so making sure that we have enough information that it's not just a follow-up. If it's a follow-up, it should be coded as a follow-up. But if it's an actual call where you find out about the business, again, guys, and we're going to be doing more of this year, what I've been looking for is the context of the information about the business. I want to know what they do. Y'all don't know how many calls I look at and I don't know what the business does. Can't tell. I don't know what they do. Sometimes I don't know how long they've been in business. What I'm looking for is like that core information about the business entity, so I can look at it and say, oh, if I had to pick up the phone and call this customer, I would know enough about them to be able to have a good conversation. And so again, when you're talking business development, what are their revenues? What do they do? How long have they been in business? Where's their primary bank? What is the opportunity and what are the next steps? And so that next step would be your follow-up, right? And then that's how you continue to create follow-ups. Every single one you talk to, there's going to be either some kind of follow-up or it's going to be dead and gone. So, JV, why don't you talk a little bit about what you uncovered going through your business development calls from 2025 and how many opportunities you think you're going to have that maybe you missed out on. You're on mute.
So yeah, I did a full audit on my business development calls, breaking down what I spoke to, who I spoke to, how many times I did follow-ups, and really uncovered what I missed. If it was during a merchant campaign, I probably overlooked the fact that we could get more deposits, or if it was during a lending campaign, I probably overlooked the fact that they could benefit from Treasury. So what I did was that I actually by doing that and revisiting, it's kind of changed the way I've put my notes in, and really just kind of dissecting them after the fact, and not going a whole year out to dissect them, really kind of looking at them up front and setting the expectation for, okay, I'm going to take the pin in my eye now because we were talking about lending, but I overheard that they have their main bank over at Chase, so I need to revisit that at some point. But just kind of like setting up those tasks and understanding, we're not going to do it right away because we got to do what they're asking for, but this is definitely something that needs to pop up. And actually last year, going through all of them, I found basically a call list. I've got 14 prospects that I can do a follow-up on based on just my notes and what I saw and what kind of fell through the cracks or something like that. So it was definitely it was time-consuming. Not even going to sugarcoat it. It was very time-consuming, but it was a learning process for me to be more ahead of it moving forward.
Yeah, I agree. And I think I've had probably a similar conversation with a lot of you about looking at each one holistically, right? Not just looking at that one thing that you're focused on about one product, whether it's CCAP, whether it's merchant, but looking at it from a holistic view. And another thing is like, what are their challenges? One thing I really didn't see was I didn't see a lot of pitch books. I'm not seeing pitch books. So we need to start having a whole separate conversation about pitch books. Pitch books was one of my things I told Audrey when she was asking me about things that y'all could work on. I said, why don't y'all do one win lab to where y'all each take a different industry, do a pitch book while you're on the call, and then y'all come back together and share 'em, and y'all have 14 different pitch books done. Voila, different industries. And that way you can utilize your time and work smarter and not harder, and just do that main page, that industry page about the industry challenges, and about some of the things that that industry is going through, so that you can all be more knowledgeable about different industries. And y'all just select them and just do it, and make that one of your win labs where you guys are just zoned in on just pitch books. So working smarter, right? Using everybody doing a different industry and putting them all together, and you guys have a wealth of knowledge right there. So those are the kind of things I share with her, and it was only because she asked me for some ideas. So that was one of them. So I really, really want to see more pitch books uploaded, because I'm not seeing those. And I want to make sure that we're talking about some of the challenges. What are their challenges? What are they going through? What is it that we're trying to solve for, right? Because in that, you may find other things. It may come out through conversation. So just making sure that we're not forgetting about the challenger sale, right? We're not forgetting about the why behind the conversation, and what separates us from other bankers and other businesses is that we want to come with insights. So what insights are we coming with? What are some of the insights? I don't see insights on here. I don't see challenges on here. So when I'm looking for the call notes, I'm looking for the meat and potatoes about the business, and what specific insight or challenges did you talk about, so that we can go back to that. So for example, starting in February, I told Sandy I want her to do half a days with me, with you guys, and I want to go out there. I'm going to do your one-on-ones in person. So we're going to be going through your calls, right? We'll go through your call notes. We'll look at them. I'll help you guys kind of one-on-one. And then I want to go on a customer call. Let's go visit a customer that can be Larry Reddy, one of your top customers at your banking center, that I can meet first. And then when Larry says, hey, Nikki, I want to go make calls. Okay, great. I can pick any, mini, miny, mo, because I've been on calls with you guys. So I want to go on customer calls. I want to be in market with you, half a day each. And then so I'll probably, depending on how Sandy's schedule's going, but hopefully we'll start in February after this whole PMP season is over. We'll start to where I can be out in market. So definitely looking forward to that. Want to, make sure we're on appointments, and we're on appointments with pitch books, and we're prepared and we're ready, and anything I can do to add value before the appointment, during the appointment, after the appointment. What do you need from me? Let me help you. But for now, I just want to make sure that we're doing the best job that we can today, but what we already have and what we already know, and let's get better and improve, because there's a lot of things I feel like we're kind of missing here and there when you have 1 and 2 sentence business development calls. Any questions on that? What else? What else do you guys want to see this year? What do you need from any of our partners? I know we really haven't heard a lot from Wealth. We're trying to wait for Wealth to get kind of a little bit more established. I think Brent was going to do something with them. But any more from, Merchant, from the banking centers, anything y'all want to see differently? Are you guys part of, I know what I want to do. So one thing I know that Tom and Audrey aren't on a call, but they do focus groups with like one person from each of their banking centers. And they literally do a call where they train them, and they go over networking. Here's how you present, talk to somebody, or your value statement at a networking event. They kind of are developing at least one person per branch to go out there and be out in market. And so I did tell her I wanted her to discuss that with everybody. I know she's probably mentioned it. They've probably mentioned it on their call, and I think Kenny's been on them as well. But just what do you guys think about doing something like that? You guys cluster up. It's 3 of them in Central Texas. Maybe you guys cluster up and you pick one person from each banking center, and just trying to get them to the next level. Not everybody's going to want to do it, right? Not everybody's going to be a big fan of it, but who do you see that has a desire to grow to the next level? Who wants to one day do something different, whether that's a banker that wants to be a manager or an SVP in the future, and they have the hustle, they have the grit, they have the wherewithal to just learn and just get under your wing. Because let me tell you, it's the best thing I could have ever done was help people grow. And that's what helped me personally be successful. So the more people you can help grow, the more you'll grow and you'll be successful as well.
I'm definitely gonna incorporate clinics, like weekly clinics around, information so that they can be a little bit more, because I think sometimes, we may get frustrated with referrals, but then, we have to kind of come back to ourselves and say, what have we invested in them, just to help them be better from that standpoint. So had a really good call this morning with a couple of my branches, but also just having product clinics so that they can have a better understanding. And then, of course, I like the idea a little bit. I think I would tweak it some, but of what Audrey and Tom are doing, but those who have stepped up and saying, okay, I'm looking to move up, definitely bringing them in on appointments so that they can learn and hear and grow. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I think another thing that helps is case studies. And I've suggested to some of you guys who I've kind of talked to on one-on-ones, when you're having a huddle, if you're having a bad experience with referrals, get a case study of a good experience and a case study of a bad experience and explain the why behind the good and why behind the bad. And when they hear it and they see it, like, hey, I'm going to give you an example of a good referral and maybe a not so good referral. No names. It could be from a different branch. It doesn't even have to be from their branch because you don't want to put anybody on the spot and embarrass them. So say I'm going to use one from another branch. And here's a good one, right? This is what went well. This is what they did. This is this. Now, some people have, I can tell you, I know Audrey has like a little form that they have to fill out, but the reason why she's able to do that is because she has Mandy's full support. So I would say if you want to be able to put something like that in place, you have to really make sure that you have your DM's full support and that they understand the why behind it, because when I'm talking to the DMs, I can always say, well, this is what's working here in Central, but every dynamic, every partnership, every relationship in all these branches are completely different, but it's because of the support from the top. So when they have their DMs, when you have the DM support, it makes a big difference, right? So if you want to try to move to something like that, I would say, okay, make sure you have it planned out, make sure you have it kind of I's dotted, T's crossed, and make sure you have a conversation with the DM first. And then maybe you guys can all talk together with your huddles or something like that with your branch managers. Make sure they're on board before you present it to the team. Or even have them present it to their teams. Like you could have your branch manager present it and say, hey, this is what would help. Or do case studies. When you have viable case studies of, hey, this is what worked well. Like JB can do a case study on this merchant. Say that merchant referral was from a banking center. That would be a great example of they got it to me. I got A, B, C, D. I got this package to AE partner. And guess what? Conversation, DocuSign 10 minutes, close same day. That's a great case study of why you should get me involved. Let me do all the middle work in the middle of that A, B, C, D. That's the hard part. You go do something else. Go find another one. And we'll get another, merchant closed for you. So Brian, I think you had some case studies that you used this past year as well, and talk about maybe how that helped your banking centers understand a little bit more about what you were doing.
Yeah, it was actually related to just referrals in general. One of the branches was actually better at managing my calendar, being able to put it on the calendar so that we had more success on just getting clients on the phone. And then just the information, simple stuff as like tell me a little bit about what they're trying to do, the revenues, and then, setting that expectation with the client saying, hey, he's going to call you at this particular time. Or even now, as we look at this year is leveraging the days that I'm there. He's going to be here on Tuesday. So would this be a good time? And then using the examples, right? And talking to the managers of the other branch that maybe I always like to say, sometimes a client's going to politely tell you no when you tell them, hey, Brian's going to call you. But what really is the value and why should they take time out of their day to talk to me? And then just using those examples and say, hey, look, when we did use the calendar, this was what the conversation sounded like when we did it. And the client was just more telling you in a polite way, yeah, have them call me, but it wasn't really much interest. That's where a lot of the clients that weren't answering my calls and just playing phone tag, in a sense. Not even phone tag, they just weren't answering.
Right. Yeah. Big difference. And so, last but not least, what else did I have? I had one other thing. I thought I wrote it down. I didn't. Oh, I know. I did write it down. Recaps and updates, weekly updates. That was the last thing I want to mention. I haven't seen them. I'm going to leave it like that. I haven't seen them. So if I wasn't copied on it, it didn't happen. Your DMs need to see it. Eric told me this morning when we were preparing, he was like, yeah, I forgot his banker's name. One of his bankers, he was like, yeah, he did 6 CCAP applications, and I think he said 2 of them closed already. Something. He was giving me some numbers. I was like, where did you find that? He was like, oh, his recap. I was like, okay, yeah. I don't get those. So, what's a recap, and who can explain it to Kenny?
Thank you, by the way.
I know you were looking a little bit like, what is she talking about? So, somebody explain to Kenny what it is.
So, a recap, at least to my understanding, is a summary on a certain interval, weekly, bi-weekly. I would keep it bi-weekly or shorter. Anything longer than that, I think, might be too long. But basically, you highlight the success, make it as detailed as you want to make it, but try to involve, how that opportunity originated, who helped you get it to, closer to closing, and then what were the end results, or best practices to get it closer to closing if nothing had closed at that time. You want to make sure you tag all the necessary people who need to see it. Like Nikki just said, if she's not tagged, it didn't happen, so you definitely want to receive some sort of credit for it. So tag her, tag your respective DM, the banking center manager of that team, and then maybe even the regional manager, Vicky Cohn. I'm not sure if she should be your regional manager too. So all those people need to see it, highlight it, and give you your kudos for the job well done.
Because it's basically like, who doesn't like recognition, right? So it's free recognition, free publicity to put people out there to make them feel good and to make them look good in front of their peers, in front of their managers, and also in front of their upper management. I'll see it, right? Brent sees it. You can put Brent on there. You put Vicky on there, the DMs, and basically just say, hey, I just want to thank this team or thank this person because they got me involved. They set blank number of appointments, and out of those appointments, we were able to get and they put it on my calendar. You can say how they did it. You can talk about the best practices it took to get there, and then you can talk about we were able to open a new account and we're expecting, $300,000 in new deposits, or we were able to get a merchant close same day. We were able to get XYZ, or we have a future opportunity for home equity, and we're also going to get personal accounts, and we're going to set up a bank at work, and So depending on how your week went, like what you want to do is you really just want to be able to just recognize them, because the more you recognize them, and if you include all of your banking centers and all of your managers and bankers, the ones that are doing something, you're going to actually be able to recognize them. The ones that aren't, they're going to see that, and they're going to see they're not being recognized, right? With their DM on it, Mandy's going to be on there, and Mandy's going to be like, well, what's going on at this branch? I hear Eastwood, but I don't hear, Alamo Heights, or vice versa, or something like that, to where it kind of helps them to see where they are in relationship to what their peer banking centers are doing, and who's getting recognized and who's not, who's presenting those behaviors, who's working well with the partners. And then if they're not, you're not saying anything, so you're not making them look bad.
Right.
They're pretty much making themselves look bad if they're not on the list for being recognized. So it's just kind of like a recognition email. Great week. Want to say thank you. We had awesome opportunities uncovered. Just very positive, very high, and just recognition. Nothing negative. And just keep it positive and just talk about the best practices and the behaviors that made it successful. And of course, results.
That sounds great. Is that a form of some sort, or is it just an email that I just create and put subject recap?
Yeah, you can put subject weekly recap,
Gotcha,
and
okay.
you can just create it. I mean, when I did mine were really colorful. I would use pictures and color, and I was just a little extra with mine when I was out in the field. But it's something I did, and
Yeah.
people liked it, and they liked the recognition. They like to see, and also you can put what you gave back, and you can say, "Hey, I was able to self-source some personal accounts from my business clients that I brought over, and we got 3 new Platinum Circle accounts this week." You know, so talk about what you self-sourced back to them. Hey, I gave this banking center a $100,000 home equity line of credit application. So you can also talk about what you gave and also what was sent to you.
That's awesome. I like it.
So if somebody has a copy of a recap, can y'all send it to Kenny? You have an example? Mickey?
No, I was going to suggest and put it to the group on like one of our Monday calls to create a simple, because I think when things are not simple and they're time consuming, they tend to not get done, to be honest. And I think what we were seeing, Nikki, is that everybody is different. I'm locucious. Okay, that means I use a lot of words. So that means you might see a recap with a whole bunch of things. But that being said, it might not get done because. So I'm thinking it would be good for us to kind of have some uniformity, not so that it's bland, but with 3 to 5 things, no more than that, of what we want to highlight on this recap. So it could be something that takes less than 20 minutes of our day on a Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, whenever it is that we choose to do it. So I think us coming together and agreeing upon that, so that it is uniform, so that some people aren't intimidated by this 3 to 5 page, dissertation of what happened in a week.
Right. We don't want to recreate everything we put in Converge. That's not the point. We don't want it to be long. We don't want it to be drawn out. We want it to be sweet, short, simple, to the point recognition. Like boom, boom, boom. So it does not have to be a story. It could be a short 2-sentence, 3-sentence story. But if there's a story that went along with it and you want to share it, and that's just the one success, then that's great. But if you have several things that really, really went well for you in a week, you want to kind of be short and sweet, because you don't want it to be an email that people see and don't feel like reading. Right. So you want to make sure that it's something that they want to read, and everybody's looking for their name. And then you'll get emails that say, "Hey, you didn't put my referral on there. You didn't put my appointment on there."
And it goes to show that they're reading it.
Right.
Yeah, I think everybody has a competitive edge inside of them. Some at a higher caliber, but I think it's just the way we all are. We want to make sure that we exceed. So yeah, I think it pushes them.
It does, and it also helps us to celebrate them, because
sure.
who doesn't feel good being celebrated? And so the more we can do of that, the best. The better. So again, it's 11:30, so I'm not going to keep y'all past the hour. Thank you for your time. And again, if there's anything else you need from me, you want us to do in 2026, any new bright ideas, let me know. More than happy to make those come to life as best I can.
Hey, really quickly, while I'm on open setting, did anyone figure out the password for SOS?
I was with Stacy yesterday, and it's not available right now.
Do we know who we go to get it? Or I mean, it probably expired, but who makes it?
It's not about it being expired. It's something
Does the account
else.
need to be paid?
Probably.
No, I think I heard something from the banking centers that it's been down for a couple of weeks. The whole site itself.
Yeah, I talked to the ROM yesterday. It has nothing to do with it being expired.
They need that money.
Probably. But yeah, did y'all ask Jennifer?
Yes. So Texas Comptroller is still good, but obviously it didn't tell everything that we needed to tell. So that's where sauce comes in.
Well, good. At least everybody's aware. So we'll go from there. All right, guys. Have a good weekend. Have some fun. Bye-bye.